So last week, something kind of bizarre started happening on my last video, my Sherlock Series 4 review. For like 3 weeks after I'd uploaded it, it was sitting pretty, about 160 views. Then it kind of exploded. Within a few hours, it jumped up to about 500 views, if that. And then the next day, over 1,000. And then now, like 5 days later, it is now at nearly 2,000 views. Huh? I mean, it's not like I don't appreciate what the heck happened. I reckon it started getting related in another video, and then more people started coming to it, and then it exploded from there. Also, something I know definitely helped, it got shared on Tumblr. Just gotta find that now. Who has shared it? Who shared it? Here it is. It's We Love Beekeeper on Tumblr. So thank you very much for sharing it. I think you've helped account for 800 views or something like that. I don't really go on Tumblr that much, so I don't quite know how this works, but thanks for sharing it. I've also really enjoyed reading through all the comments. It's been lovely. My favourite one, especially, is the one from the post on We Love Beekeepers. We all need to take this guy out to a bar and have fun with him. Yes, you do. All of you need to take me out to a bar. Let's have some fun. So looking at all these comments, it got me started thinking about my book collection, because a lot of it is sort of related to the fact that I might not have read as much of the Sherlock series as I should have, apparently. Debatable, that's fine, whatever, but I just thought I'd take this opportunity today to talk about all the books that I've got piled upstairs, because I quite frankly love reading. Absolutely love it. So much so that recently I had to buy a whole new, bigger bookcase just to be able to, you know, organise it all properly, and because my old bookcase was just a complete mess, there was no room on it at all. So starting at the beginning, we've got the Harry Potter series, which is fairly standard. I was born in the early 90s and liked reading. It was bound to happen eventually. Actually, some of my earliest memories involving having my parents read to me was with the first Harry Potter books, at least the first couple of them at least. I know definitely the first one. Like a very strong memory of my dad reading me The Philosopher's Stone. Must have been, don't know how old, but some good memories there, some good memories, so thanks Harry Potter and J.K. Rowling for that. Next up, like any self-respecting teenager of the time, it was the Alex Rider series by Anthony Horowitz, although I gave up after a while. Like, I didn't finish the whole series because after a while it just started getting implausible that a teenager kept getting into all these situations without dying. They were fun whilst it lasted though, and so much so that I enjoyed Anthony Horowitz to the point that I got his next series, which was the Power of Five series. Didn't finish that either. It was good, but like by the time that they were coming out, I was getting not as interested in that sort of age group of, you know, that reading age, I suppose to say, so I wanted more challenging stuff to read. Then we've got this series called Tomorrow series, which is all about teenage, like young adults, like people between 17, 18-year-olds fighting a guerrilla war in Australia, which is my dad introduced me to when he started going out over there with my stepmum, and yeah, really enjoyed those. Those are good fun. Then A Song of Ice and Fire, the whole thing. Took me a year and 7 months to read the entire series, but I'm so glad I did. It was so good. I got hooked on the show and just instantly wanted to find out what happens next. I couldn't wait, just wanted more. These might be some of my favourite books as well, because George R.R. Martin just writes so amazingly. Like, I want to do writing myself, and when I think of the style I want to go for, I'm just like, I want to write like him. Those people also say that Game of Thrones is basically just sex and, you know, people getting eviscerated. It is that, but you have not seen pornography until you read how George Martin describes food in the books. Like, the way he just writes about food, like, you just want to eat the page. It's that, just, oh my god. Then we've got the Expanse series, similar to Thrones in that it was a TV series that I found out about, which is based off a book series, so I thought, oh, I like this TV series, so I'll read the books, because I want more. At the moment, the series is on season 2, even as we're speaking, like, episodes are still coming out, and as for the book series, I'm on Book 5 at the moment, Nemesis Games. Really enjoying it so far, so I have to see how it goes. Then we've got a couple of random books on the end here, including Master and Commander. Again, really want to get around to reading that series because I saw the film it was based off of. I really liked the film, I wanted to read the book. There's kind of a pattern emerging here, I think. Then on the lower shelf, we've got The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, because I love science fiction and they are damn funny. Then we've got a couple extra childhood books by Roald Dahl, for example, my favourite of his being the Twits, and a couple of Just William stories in a single book. Mostly though, when I was growing up with Just William, it was the audio tapes that I had, that's why I don't have any more books. Then possibly my favourite author, Robert Harris, who writes these fantastic historical thriller books. I started with Archangel, which tells the story of Stalin's sort of secret family being discovered, his descendants, which is quite interesting. But I'd also recommend Fatherland, which tells the story of 1960s Berlin if Hitler had won the war, and a murder mystery taking sort of like at the heart of the Nazi party. It's fantastic, it really is a great book. Obligatory Dan Brown book, I've got Inferno knocking around somewhere. They're fun, quite entertaining, sort of. Everybody hates on them, but I kind of like them. The Road, which is a really fascinating book, not so much for the story, which is really good, but just the way it's written. I recommend checking that one out as well. The Sherlock Holmes books, right now I've got about 6 of these, and I read maybe 2/3 of them. So all of the single stories like The Sign of Four, The Hand of the Baskervilles, and most of the short stories. So yeah, didn't read all of them. It was just kind of got predictable in the same towards the end, like Conan Doyle's style of writing. What I mean, not the stories themselves, but his just style of writing. Like the plot points are all sort of the same structure. Hard to describe, but it just got samey for me. So moved on. Lord of the Rings. Yes, I read them because of the films, but did I think that the books are better? Rare case, no. I preferred the films. Didn't like the books really that much. Maybe I'll explain in another video sometime. Don't have time today. It's a whole rant, we'll get into it another time. Then some pretty battered Penguin classics like Pride and Prejudice of all things, Wuthering Heights, mostly because I studied them at English Lit sixth form. A couple of them because I just really liked them. You know, 1984 for example, just picked up on my own. Recommend reading that, that's a good one. Favourite though out of that collection? Great Gatsby, brilliant book. Getting into a bit of an odd collection here, some Charles Dickens short stories on London and some sci-fi short stories that my dad bought me for Christmas. But my favourite one on that little shelf there has to be Ship of Theseus, which is this sort of dual narrative book, which I, just for the experience of reading it, have to recommend. Not so much for the story on the inside, but the way it's just structured. It's all about, you got the original book on the inside, which is made to look like a library book with a fictional author, and it's all about, it's kind of like Lost, if you ever watched the TV show Lost. J.J. Abrams was attached to sort of produce this book, so his influence is in there. About a guy with amnesia, sort of, I think in the 1930s, who sort of gets wound up in loads of political conspiracies, also being on board a ship that sort of just time travels for some reason. It's quite strange, but I'd recommend that bit as well. But in the margins as well, you've got these two students at university, like a boy and a girl, sort of sharing the book between them and writing notes to each other as they tried to find out the mystery of the author of this book, who was supposedly assassinated but got away. So you've got all in there maps and letters that the two of them write to each other, apart from the notes in the margin, postcards they send to each other as they go out on their investigations around the world. It's fascinating and one of the most unique reading experiences I've ever had. I absolutely would recommend it to anyone who just loves the joy of reading. It's kind of hard to describe why I'd recommend it, because the story itself is a bit nonsensical. It's sort of, yeah, it's J.J. Abrams pulp, you know, Lost craziness, but it's so fun at the same time, being able to sort of look through all these items, and yeah, just check it out. Really would recommend it, check it out. Then you got a couple of weird meme stuff like Where's Bin Laden and Icon has cheeseburger. Embarrassing. Some Terry Pratchett. I enjoyed the books that I have, but I never really got into the whole series. Mark Haddon's zombie books, which are brilliant in every way. I would recommend reading them if you're a bit of a zombie fan, into that kind of genre. Definitely the better one is World War Z, which is nothing like the film. I actually read this before the film came out. Weird switch around, I know, compared to how my other books are, but I'd recommend reading it. It's much better than the film. Some autobiographies and history, sciencey stuff, then some English lit stuff from when I did more acting, some film books from uni, and a Da Vinci book full of his illustrations, because I think that stuff is fascinating. Then these massive fuck-off Shakespeare books that my dad got me once for Christmas. I had to say, like, it was a bit of a surprise, you know, Dad gives me this massive box for Christmas, it's massive, heavy, oh, gotta be something really exciting. Shakespeare! Thanks, Dad. That's horrible. It makes me sound like I'm ungrateful, but it's a pretty impressive piece of collection. It's got lots of different sort of writings on the columns of different productions and analysis sort of stuff as well. Bit impractical if you're using it for a production, and makes a good doorstop, but otherwise it's good. Then some couple behind the scenes of films kind of books, the best of which would be Kip Thorne's book on the science of Interstellar. Not just the visual effects of the film, but the actual theories of the science in the film, like black holes and wormholes and time travel and dimensions. And if you're a bit of a science nut like I am and loved Interstellar like I did, really recommend reading this book. It's a bit challenging to get your head around all the sciencey stuff in there, but really, really interesting. Tintin! I am not a comic book reader, but like, I love Tintin. Like when I was a kid, I never read Marvel or DC. Captain America, Superman, Batman, that formed no part of my childhood whatsoever, but Tintin did. I'm so weird. They are fantastic though, and I wish I had more. Maybe one day I'll get round to collecting all of them. Then a bunch of DK books, because every growing kid needs DK books. Still go flick through them every now and then. Then a massive Art Deco book, because I like Art Deco. I think it's cool. So that's basically my entire book collection. I hope you enjoyed taking a look at it all. Don't know if you're very interested in it, to be perfectly honest, but I just wanted to talk about it because I love reading. I think it's one of the best things that anyone can do, really, and I think it's kind of sad that not enough people read books these days. Like, I ask my friends, are you reading anything? And they're like, no. They're either too busy or not bothered, which I think is very sad, especially, you know, if they're too busy. I can understand that, but if they're not bothered, just try, you know. I think everybody should read, you know, it's great. But I'm going to end it there, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a comment. Let me know what kind of books you like reading, if you think my collection is a pile of crap, or if you're going to go out and read any of my suggestions. If you've read any of them already, let me know. Let's have a mutual love of books conversation. That'd be very nice. Leave a like, share out if you'd be interested, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and until the next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.